Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Hello and welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit Season 6. We are in Day 2. We are starting Episode 4 with Olivier and Megan. I came across them again through the Sarah Landon community. There's a bunch of us from the community speaking this season, so you'll hear me say that a lot this season. But Olivier and Megan did a little music for the community. And I thought it was so beautiful that I asked them to help me with my annual anniversary last season. And so they gave me some beautiful recordings for me to use for that. So in our conversations, we talked about having them come and be speakers on the show. And so here they are. And so they're not at home. So they've kind of piecemealed all of their equipment together and they carried it with them. And so please forgive us for the if there's any kind of technical issues on our end. So I appreciate your patience with us. Megan and Olivier, honestly, it's an honor to have you guys here. I love to get started by having you guys introduce yourself, and then we will just kind of take it from there.
Beautiful.
Okay, go first.
Okay, so there's something special about when two people come together in love. When two people come together in love and love what they do and love to share what they do. And I feel that's what happens for us, is that we came together in sound, and the sound just let us know, like, here you go, here's the rest of your life. Living in love, sharing love through the music that you bring. And like this moment is a perfect example of that. We're in a beautiful home in Del Mar, California. Our host has been at the beach this morning watching dolphins, and there's hummingbirds all around the house, sun shining. Like, we live such a blessed life. And it's because we've said yes. You know, we've said yes to love, yes to us, you know, to bringing all of who we are. And so, Daniel, thank you so much for this opportunity to come and share this beautiful music with beautiful people all around the world.
I don't know what I can say to to add to that. Our sound has taken us around the world. And so it's kind of fitting that now we're talking to you and we are in a new place for both of us, in an extraordinary place, living an extraordinary life. And yeah, I love that you brought that, Olivier, because as soon as we met, we were invited to go and play in different, you know, in Glastonbury Festival, a retreat in Portugal. And then before we knew it, we were off to Australia and different places in Europe. And we've taken the sound around the world. And also we love to be in places that have really alive, extraordinary energy that we can plug into and then bring that through in our music. That's probably one of the most inspiring things for us. So we're really happy to be sitting in this gorgeous room with you guys there, and there's trees all around us, and we're ready to just really drop into the energy and bring it through. We've been playing together for what, like almost 10 years, 9.5 years. So it's really evolved over time, and we're definitely in the most joyful place that we've ever been, and we know there's more and more and more. So we love to share that with you. That's such a expansive experience for us to be sharing this continuously. And whoever shows up, like whoever of you are here now, and I even believe like those of you who are tuning in at a different time, all of your energy, all of your spirit is part of what will come through us today, which I find really exciting.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And so before we even kind of talk about your music, looking at your website, you also do kind of coaching conversations. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because it's not just about the music. There's also more. And naturally, given that this is Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, how does channeling come into play with everything that you do?
Do you want to speak to that first? Because you do a lot more of that kind of
Yeah. So Megan and I, we call
Close to your mouth.
We call it pure love frequency, pure love frequency. So it is bringing through the frequency of pure love. And that is the most transformational energy in the universe, because it's what the universe is made of. So when we reconnect to love, then we find that our experience of life changes. And I feel so blessed to go on these journeys with individuals of allowing more and more love in. And yes, there is a spoken element to it, where it's you're exploring the ebb and flow of life together. And there is moments then where the channeling comes in, and it can be mind-blowing. Just this morning I was on a call, and I thought that the channeling was going to be at one level, like quite sort of human to human level almost. And then this almost like grandfather soul, like this oversoul that creates whole star systems came in and spoke. And the transformation from that, absolutely incredible. And it's like these quantum leaps, we're able to take these quantum leaps then in understanding what we're experiencing at a human level, and also a quantum leap in being able to bring through even more energy of light and love into our human experience. So, as way showers, and everyone here is a way shower, wouldn't be here if you weren't. We're here to be part of the ascension process of Earth, absolutely. And we're here to allow our own ascension process to be as full and as rich as it can be. It's such a privilege and an honor to be incarnate on this planet at this time. It's the biggest show in the universe going on right now, is Earth's movement into the next density of consciousness. And here we are. So, as Megan said, we're living an extraordinary life. It's like everyone can live this extraordinary life. And that's what I want for everyone, is to live an extraordinary life. So by us living it, we allow others to do that too. And I think that's the same for all of us. The more we allow our abundance, our joy, our love to shine out and, and to live that and experience it, then the world changes. And the sooner everyone will be living that beautiful, abundant, joyful life.
And I think just to come back to that, the question about like how does the coaching, how does the mentoring like work with this? I feel like our premise is really vibration and pure love. So it's the vibration of pure love, and it's a space for whatever cognition or whatever words or whatever wants to be explored in that space has, like, that's the room that we're playing in the room of, in the space of pure love, and from a vibrational kind of space. So it really drops us, we hear the council talk about this all the time, like every session, like drop from your head down into your heart. And that's where the greatest wisdom is. That's where we know our truest selves, and where all our dreams can flow through us without the obstacles that the mind puts there. So it's really a space for the ones that come on those journeys with us. Extraordinary things happen because of that combination and that just weave of whatever is arising for them to be met and explored with this vibration and pure love.
Sounds like a beautiful journey for both you and them.
Oh yeah. We like every time either of us come off the call, we'll always be like, how was the call? And it's always invariably, it was amazing. Yeah. And I think it's really shifted, you know, over the years, because both of us used to do a lot of healing work. So I did a lot of sound healing. Olivier did a lot of Reiki and didgeridoo with his Reiki. And there was often quite heavy stuff that our clients were moving through. And now we're finding that people are coming to us, and yes, there's some quite significant stuff going on for them, health issues or whatever, but they're not actually coming for that. They're coming because they want to know what it is to live in oneness, and they want to know how, like, what it's like to infinitely expand and become more and more of who they are. So it's a complete joy for us, because that's just so, there's just so much playfulness and like life-giving energy through that process. So much more life-giving energy, rather than going in and trying to sort things out and work things out and make it better.
It's the emphasis on living a wonderful life instead of sorting through issues in order to live a wonderful life.
Absolutely.
It's the attention to what it is that you're looking to resolve.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I love that you describe it that way. I mean, it's you know, a lot of us playing in this space are looking to reach that level in our own work, where what we're doing is we're connecting with people that want that expansion and want that living in joy, living in love, and that's what draws them to us. And so it's beautiful that you're having that experience. That's amazing.
Yeah. The thing that comes to mind as you're speaking is something that the council said, I don't know, a while back. Or maybe it was even Sarah just in an integration call, but talking about how when there's, you know, when there's something that you think that you should do, or that you should try and, you know, like resolve and get done, but you don't, like, the energy's not really there. And if you actually let it go and go into what does feel really good and tune into that, then that thing often just gets done anyway. Like someone else will do it for you, or it doesn't need to be done anymore, or whatever. And I feel like that's the same thing with the healing. Like you don't necessarily need to go to healing to get the healing. Like it will happen in that integral, impeccable space of just really being what is true for you in each moment.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And for those of you that aren't familiar with who the council is the collective of energies that channel through Sarah Landon. And so if they're referring to the council, that's what they're referring to, just as an FYI. So for anybody that's listening on live, if you have any questions or comments or anything that you want to bring up for Megan and Olivier, please raise your hand or put a question in the chat. So can you guys talk, can you each individually, can you talk to me more about how channeling is a part of your experience of life and of work?
That just makes me laugh, because it is just it's just such a joyful thing, isn't it? Like I just feel so grateful that we do live it every day. Like we'll quite often just go into channel ourselves. Like we might start off sometimes just maybe there's a question that we want to explore, or a decision that we're not quite sure which way to go with something, and one of us will start asking the other one, you know, the other one in channel, and then suddenly we're both in channel and we're having this like really awesome conversation that neither of us had any idea was coming. And then I'll be singing and Olivier will start singing, and it's just in our life, like all the time. It's in our life. And it feels like I remember when I was a teenager, there was a moment that I remember really clearly. I was on the college bus and I was sitting in my seat, and I just had this moment of realization that I was going to completely commit to my intuition, because I didn't want any more of the whatever it is that had happened. No more of those messy, confusing things. I always had to follow like my heart's guidance, because otherwise I just got into trouble with myself. Like, and I feel that's, you know, that's certainly for me, and I think it is for you. And please take the mic anytime you want to. But it's like that commitment every day. That's what we're committing to, is that heartful life and being in love. And if it doesn't feel, you know, Olivier's constantly reminding me, if it doesn't feel good, it's not real. That's not the truth of it. So then we expand again. So it just feels like we're constantly expanding with ourselves. So then when we have a conversation with a client, it's just an extension of just life, just us living life. And now we're bringing it, there's someone else in front of us who we get to expand with even further. So it's not like, oh no, now we've got to go to work. It's like, yeah, we've got this amazing soul to connect with this morning. Yeah, I don't know if you want to say more.
The playfulness of it as well, you know, that it's not like, oh, now we're going to channel, I'm going to be serious about it. You know, the playfulness of it. We were talking the other day about a time we were in Scotland, and we were looking for a place to stay, and it was the holiday time, like Easter holidays, you know, everything's really full and booked up. We'd already had found two hotels where they just had cancellations for the 2 previous nights. I was like, oh yeah, you've got room, you can stay with us. And this day I was like, well, we want to go and explore these mountains, the Trossachs. Let's go there. And as it was getting later in the day, we think, well, we should probably find somewhere to stay. And there's no signal because it's the Highlands, so you can't look on your phone. It's like, okay. So I just started asking Megan, so are we going to find a place on this road? It's like, no. Okay, should we turn off in 5 miles? No. Less than 10 miles? Yes. 7 miles? Should we turn off in 7 miles? Yes. Is it to the left or to the right? It's to the right. And we just followed that radar. And we ended up at this amazing place called Lendrick Lodge, which we both wanted to go to because it's like a Buddhist retreat center we both heard a lot about. We ended up there. They put us in touch with, oh, people often stay with John. So we rang John. Oh, I've just had a cancellation. You can stay with me tonight. You know, it was just magic, pure, pure magic. And that's the joy, you know, that's the joy of living this vibration. Is that we get to have those amazing experiences of connection and unity, essentially, and where everything that we feel we need is given to us even before we need it, as the council says. So, yeah, just the joy, you know, the joy and the lightness and the playfulness. I'm so grateful for, you know, it's transformed my experience of life, and it, you know, then we can bring it through, you know, so that others can experience it as well. And that's what I love about the fact that it's sound that we bring it with, is that you don't need to know anything. There's no language involved. There's no mental understanding. It's the pure transmission that allows each person to have their own personal connection to the truth of who they are.
And just on that note of how, excuse me, how do we use it in, you know, how does this flow through our lives? If I'm not singing most days, then I just feel like there's just something like not quite right or something missing. I have the same thing with the sea. If I don't go in the sea every day, I just feel like something's not quite, or in water. And so it's that thing of like, you know, I think we all have our touch points of what, like the gateways in, and, you know, some people might have their oracle deck that they love, or some people might journal, or some people might like go for walks in the woods. It's like we all have our gateways and our doorways to something greater and something that just feels so, so good. And when it feels so good in that innocent, pure way, we know we're really onto something and tapping into the divine, essentially, I would say.
Yeah. And there is absolutely, thank you, Katie, for what you've written in the comments there about how, you know, your life's transformed in the last few months. Katie was part of a program called Blissful Unity that we run a couple of times a year. And the momentum that generates when we have, you know, a number of people journeying together in this frequency of love, you know, everyone was having incredible experiences. And we were too, hey, like, wow, like what we were experiencing in that 6 weeks that we were journeying. So just to, you know, to say that, to bring that, because there is so much more resonance when we all come together, with this shared intention of being in love, you know, being in this love frequency. That is what transforms not just our lives or the lives of those that we're directly connected to, but the world itself. people who study the Earth's magnetic field noticed that when Princess Diana died, the Earth's magnetic field shifted. You know, that wave of compassion that everybody felt in their hearts was echoed in the planet itself. So, you know, as each of us do what we do in love, the world changes.
There's a little bit of an echo somewhere.
I think, Katie, you might have your mic on.
Yep. It's nice to hear you.
Nice to hear you giggle.
Oh, there we are. Katie, I'm going to mute you, okay? Unless there's something you want to say.
Nope, I just can't work out how to mute it. Sorry.
Okay, no
You do it. That'd be brilliant. I didn't even realize it. Come on, that's great. Mute it. Thank you.
No worries. Absolutely. Lovely to hear your voice. Thanks for being here. So it's something that you guys are talking about, which is really, really beautiful to hear. It's this aspect of kind of living your joy and using that as your roadmap. And it's the way that you guys are describing your life. This is personified. This idea of following your joy and using that as your roadmap is personified in the way that you guys are both living your lives, and that's a beautiful example. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up.
It's something we've realized more and more actually in the last couple of years, you know, because we have a business that we run, you know, and that needs things done in it, you know, and sometimes there'll be, as Megan said, like this energy of pushing. It's like, we should send out the email and tell people about this thing that we're doing. And we just stop and go, we could just go to the beach. And we go to the beach, have a beautiful swim, connect with nature, raise our frequency, feel really good, come back, get a message. It's all done. Oh, and by the way, a couple of people signed up for this thing we hadn't even told anyone about. Like, I don't even know how they got to hear about it. But okay, money's arrived. Fantastic. Thanks. It's amazing. It really is amazing that we connect with joy and love. And, you know, that energy shows up, for us in these other beautiful ways.
Beautiful. So where would you like this conversation to go? And of course, whenever you guys feel inspired to share whatever you guys want to share with us, you know, let us know when that feels right.
Do you want to play and then see?
Yeah. Should we play?
Sounds good.
Great. All right.
Playtime.
Playtime.
So this is really, again, for you to be in your joy, like receive this in a way that feels really good for you. Excuse me. So just take a moment just to notice yourself, and just to notice how you're sitting or standing or lying or whatever you're doing, and just see if you want to move, see if you want to wiggle around or take some deep breaths, maybe stretch and yawn. Just notice what your body, what your energy is asking for now. And as you breathe, maybe you'd just like to notice the sensation or the quality of your energy, of your frequency, whatever that means for you.
Megan, can you just speak a little bit closer to the microphone?
Oh, yes. So just taking some nice, easy breaths. And this is a place I love to come back to, no matter what's going on, especially if there's something that's kind of confusing me or doesn't feel quite right, just to take a step back and just take a few breaths and feel the quiet. And so just noticing for yourself as well just now, whether there's a desire to connect in with certain elements, perhaps the rich earth or fluid waters or great ancient trees, the stars, birds circling the mountains. Just playing with the sense of expanding out to the horizon. As you feel yourself through those elements. Feeling the oxygen in your body and your cells awakening, knowing that, like anticipation, that there's something magnificent about to happen in your body, in your energy. So we just need to make sure that you're all muted on your mics, just so you don't get a horrible distortion. Nayumburaya maya raya nachaya suroya maya naratyambu. Nangurachaya samboroya narataya syamoroya manaya kayo apawo. Ha 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 natraya chia syamborapoyama. Ha andoroya syambahu bahu bahu. Nataraya syambora nanatraya syamboroya natyaram syambao honraya natatraya kuyamborataya syo hopaya nanturaya nanaraya hambotaraya mbotorotya syananantraya sopoyo ho 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 natraya syambaraya nanandraya ho nanaraya rataraya poyoroya ho ho hakoraye omura mya mya raye ahanyatra natrayandrandro yo pro ya pro ya pro Shisamyam Borodhyatara Chaya Simyam Guratara Chaya Syamborotaya Nara Chaya Syamborotoya Makoye Nararaya Naro Maho Kao Troya Syamrat Nenera Chaya Syambo Ebaya Troya Syambara Poko O Parachaya Syambo
chesiam porotaya siahatara chesiam porotaya na chesiana chusiam pura ata chesiam pura iana chesiam bupara chesia a terachaya tunta cham potodora Iramiam borata yesya atraya chesiam yamborata yesam pati chesiam boroto yamambarai naraja chesiam borota ninka chesiatrayita Imyambo trachasiam intrachasiam yambara. Fly free, fly free, fly free. Open eyes, open heart. Oshasiam da terayasiam yum fly free. Oyarayasiam boro yantarachayasyo. Gliding, gliding, swooping, gliding, gliding, rising, rising. Purachaya xiao hao, moro tiao ho ao, anda tao ho, yaro chuya xiao ho. Maratyara chuya xiao yambodo traya, clear, clear eyes, clear, clear, clear eyes, bright open eyes. Gliding, gliding, heart, heart, opening to the tips of the wings. Feathers catching light in the air. Karayusyam boratya mamara chuyasya boro. Narayasyam boratyo omo yokoroyasyam baramai iratyana tyoratyo yasyam baporatyo embaratya yasyananyang yachuyasya. Ah 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 Siam yukrachai, esiam boturachai, esiatachai, esiam yunkoi, atraya, esiam yumrochuratiam, white soft soles of your feet. Utroya siam yumkurachai, esiahandrach, esimimo, drinking in the earth's energies. Turachai, siam muratant, esiam yumkurachai, miam putro, esiam arachai, esyo. Nanto Tarayo chasiram borama etra chasyo oramara tiaro tiaro chusyam borati anara chayasi amara torotyo ombo e atram tianto tramye Shusyamaro yamatraya syara yanatraya syam yamboro yamatraya syamontro Naraya simboroya nondraya syana naraya sya pyoroya morataya syandao Ianaya chesemi morataya shesemi morataya syahaja Pearls of light all over your body, pearls of light Tahisha Sipyogorataya Syam Yankurachaya Syam Yunkurataya Syahana Chaya Syam Ukurachia rolling over the surface of your skin, pearls of light, absorbing and radiating into your skin, into your body. Esyahatru Shisyam Yamburaya Taya Shisyam Yamburapupnyata Shisyam Taki Shisyam Burataya Syanana Traya Syam Boraya Ta Akyuroyetya mataya syamo hateya sa. And resting, resting, resting deep within. Shoyamaya tahi shisiami boroya bayetaya shosiami barateya. Amiamborataya siamiamborataya siakaya toyas. Oyamaya tahi shisiya. And so just taking your time. You might just want to notice any sensations, any colors, any senses. And again, as you're ready, coming back to the body and just noticing what feels really good for you just now. Whether it's just to stay completely still or to stretch and yawn. And noticing yourself, and fully allowing that space for whatever feels good for you. Thank you, thank you. Such a joy to play and sing for you today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you guys for that. That was beautiful.
Pleasure. Can you hear us
So,
okay?
to those of you that are listening with us, I hope that you were able to hear what you heard, and I will do my best to play with the volumes in post-production as best as I can to balance things out a little bit. Again, we apologize that this isn't their normal setup, and they're traveling with all their equipment, and and we're doing a bit of a make-do happenstance to make sure that they were able to join us for the season. And so You know, hopefully next time that they join us, it'll be a little bit more balanced and everything will be more aligned with how they're used to performing. So thank you guys for doing that. That was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm just noticing some really gorgeous comments here about Sally walking on the grass barefoot while she's been listening, and Katie dancing, and yeah, just it's really good to feel that.
Yeah.
That even if the sound quality didn't come through so well, you're still feeling it. I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah. Kiara asked what the instrument is. This is a harmonium that Megan is playing. So it's, for me, it comes from India, and it's, voilà. So there's bellows at the back. So it uses the air as a keyboard to play the tones, and it goes so beautifully with the voice. You know, in India, they use it a lot with singing mantra. And yeah, I love the combination, Megan's voice and the harmonium and the didgeridoo. When those three are just, yeah, in that beautiful resonance, I'm flying. I'm off in the stars somewhere. Such a beautiful combination. A little bit, yeah, similar idea to the accordion, yeah. Yeah.
So Megan,
Yes.
as people are not very, some people that are in this community are familiar with light language. And my question to you is, are you singing light language, or are you just making what comes to you in tones, or what is it that you, what is the language that you sing, if there is a language?
Yeah. I can feel like the naughty part of me going, I just make it up. Which I always thought that I did. You know, when I was very young, my mum and I used to talk like this, like in this kind of language. And I just always felt so good when we did it. I just felt like everything was okay. And I felt really in myself fully. And later on, as years have gone on, and as it was starting to come through more and more as song, especially when I was singing with Olivier as well, I had the desire to find out perhaps what this was, you know, have an idea in my mind what was coming through as well, rather than just feeling it. And so I just started writing. I just started asking the questions and just free flow writing. And the answer that I have is that, yes, I totally understand it as light language, although I do call it language of the stars is what I resonate with. Those are the words that came for me, excuse me. And so I have this connection with, this is the visual, if you will. So Davish is a woman, the woman of the riverbank. And she is this multifaceted, like infinite, I would say infinitely faceted and fascinating being, holographic being of light, of love. And star constellations come through her, like they're received through her, and then they're sung through me. And I remember Ryan actually early on when I was singing in the community, he pointed out like, hey, maybe you're her, maybe she's you. And that's really landed as well. So I really feel that is like, you know, there's no real separation. And as I go on, so many people have said to me, I'm her, I feel her, I was her when you were singing, or I really feel her. She came to me really strongly in my dreams or whatever. So it feels like there's so much more to Davish than I really know in my mental brain, but I feel it through my heart. And so she's bringing through these star constellations that I sing, and she's forever by the riverbank with this water, this pure love frequency water just flowing. And actually, as I've been working more and more with individuals recently, it just is coming into every session, like all of these people are being taken down to the water and in some way laid in the water for magic to happen. There's so much magic in the water. So I'm really excited to continue being shown and exploring what that is.
So yes, that's kind of a long answer to say yes, you can totally call it light language, but that's more of a kind of a more padded out explanation of my understanding, my connection with it.
That's beautiful.
I'd like
Love
to,
it.
can I hop in here real quick, Daniel?
Of course. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember that because that was such a powerful transmission that you had brought through. And it was one of my first experiences with the two of you. And it was just so moving and so beautiful. And you showed us the picture that day. And it was so clear to me that, yes, I mean, I might have suggested it, but it was so clear to me that, yes, you are her, right? And then it came through that Olivier was the water, and so you singing next to Olivier, which is the water, which is this unconditional love of stream of consciousness, while you are on the riverbank singing the music of the stars. It's just so beautiful, and I still get goosebumps thinking that and knowing that as that comes through. So it's beautiful. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much,
Bless you,
Ryan.
Ryan. That's so beautiful.
And thank you for reminding me of showing the picture, because I think I just noticed that, like, in that moment, really, that I'd had that picture since I was maybe 10, and I'd never made the connection. Like, I've had her with me since I was 10, and I had to have her. I didn't have enough money to buy the print, but I could buy the card, and she's traveled with me all these years. And then just, I think around that time that we played that day, and I just looked to the side and I was like, oh, I've had her with me. Like, you know, I've had her with me obviously all along because I've been singing her all along, but I've had the image of her there as well. Which is
And
really
I
cool.
love the learning that this is a language that you and your mother have had since you were really young. That just speaks volumes to me. Yeah, that's awesome.
And talking of, you know, of expansion as well, even like when I was even younger than that, I remember having experiences of singing in a very high pitch, very quiet tone, and just having tears just running down my face, and it just felt so good. I didn't know what it was, but it felt really good. And I'd have these experiences of, like, in my body, I just felt so big, and sometimes I'd have to open my eyes just to kind of like make sure I was like back here on the planet, because I just felt so massive. So it's nice to connect back into that, and remember that little part of me that was in this human experience was experiencing that already.
That's beautiful. Really beautiful.
It reminds me of how we're born into this innocence.
Yes.
And you're returning or remembering that innocence through your singing and the voice that you had, that innocence.
Yeah, thank you.
What I get from that is having that experience of that massive aspect of who you are at such a young age is a reference that you've held on to your entire life.
Yeah.
And that association, that reference has been with you since then. As a reminder that you are more than what it seems on the surface.
Yeah.
It makes me think about plants. I love gardening. I love plants. I love having plants around. And something I've learned about when you grow plants in a pot is that if the pot's too big, if they're like through their roots, they can't feel the edge, the plants don't thrive. They kind of hold themselves in this small space. And it makes me think about that. You know, Megan from very early on had this realization of how huge she was, like the expanse of her consciousness. And so she knew that larger presence than just the physical was there. Like you could feel oh, I can expand here. I can get a bit bigger in my awareness. I can expand because I know I'm safe, because I know like I actually go out that far. I just feel that in you, like this knowing that it's safe to expand, it's safe to keep growing, it's safe to keep reimagining myself into a new and expanded version of the truth of who I am. Yeah. And I love seeing that in you, you know? This journey together that we've had, we've both expanded so much in the time that we've been together. Oh wow. Oh wow. And you know, that we hold that for each other. You know, we hold that expanded view of each other for us, that pure love. Yeah, that frequency. Yeah. Ah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
So where would you like to go from here? You guys have any questions or comments or anything? There's beautiful comments in the chat.
Yeah, Venus is pretty nice.
Sorry, say again, Daniel.
I was just saying that there's some beautiful comments in the chat.
Mm.
So thank you guys for putting those in there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, you're sparkling so bright, Megan. You share these insights.
Sometimes I feel like it's almost like I feel like I'm going to pop because I can feel the light just like bursting out of my cheeks.
Yeah.
I can relate. I always have this bright red face on the screen because there's so much energy that's coming through it.
Yeah.
I can relate. Totally. I'm like, do I always have to look like I'm this like red face that's ready to blow up on the screen?
Yeah.
You get the rosy little cheeks. You look cute, at least.
I don't know. I think it's full face just now.
What would you guys say to people that are stepping into themselves, finding the edges of the truth of who they are? Because a lot of the people on this journey, a lot of the people in this conversation that are listening to this recording naturally have reached a certain level of their expansion. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. Yeah. But many of the listeners are going to be at this early age of connecting with the truth of who they are.
I think for me, it's like starting to be more and more aware of the subtleties. So like when we research something, we really want to go into it in great depth and also like to come out and look at it from above every now and then. And so we can do that with ourselves, and we can, I call it my radar sometimes, to just keep checking in with myself. Like, does this, like breathing is really, really useful, to just keep taking breaths and just notice, it's like, what feels good just now? And if something doesn't feel quite right, just take a moment and just allow, like, really, it's a game. The council talk about this all the time. Just slow down. And that's where the acceleration point is. And when we slow down, we quieten down and we feel ourselves. Last night, Olivier and I, we went to a flotation tank, which it's water. For those of you who don't know, it's a big bathtub that's warm water with lots and lots and lots and lots of Epsom salts. So you float. There's absolutely no effort, and you can have it completely dark. And I noticed how my mind, because we've been traveling and there's been a lot going on, I was still quite stimulated, and it was all kind of burring around my mind. And part of me was like, oh, I think I'll get out. I don't think I want to be in here. Like, I was kind of having all this stuff. And then I just knew that there'd be a moment. So I just stayed with it and I kept breathing. And then there was a moment where I felt this like boom. And it was like something just kind of like someone had just dropped a stone in water, and there were just these ripples within me. And I just felt all these colors line up within me, and my energy field just expand out. And I feel like I'm sharing that because it's when we really allow ourselves to drop deeper into the quiet within ourselves, that's where everything is, from that still point, from that quiet point. And that's where and then that's where we can really feel like just experiment. Like, does this
is this something that I'm pushing for, or does this feel like I'm in a flow, like a stream of energy that just feels really easy? And if it's pushing, then it's not the right moment. And if it feels easy, then even if it feels kind of like, oh, I'm not ready for it, it's like, hey, it's happening. Like that ease is a real indicator that it's happening. So it's those little subtle moments. I feel like those subtle indicators that we can become more and more attuned to. I think that's what it is, you know, like when you're learning an instrument, you can start off, like maybe you're even a natural straight away and you can start off, like you can play a few tunes, or maybe it's just like you have no idea. But over time, it becomes more and more natural for you. And it's like, oh, I don't even need to look down at the piano anymore when I play the keys. And then, oh, I don't even need the sheet music anymore. And oh, now I'm even just like creating stuff that no one's ever written before. So it just, the more and more you come into this quietness and listen for the subtleties, the more it's just, you become an expert in yourself.
I think
And
that's a
also
really
I
beautiful
feel-
point about listening for the subtleties and looking for the subtlety. Because a lot of what we're talking about, learning to identify the vibration of different entities that speak through me, is a very, very subtle distinction. Learning to distinguish my thoughts from an idea that I get from my plant that's next to me that I need to water her is a very, very subtle distinction. And so I am constantly trying to turn up the volume on my listening and my awareness skill in order to identify all of this information that's around me and available to me that is underneath the noise of the day-to-day awareness.
Mm. Mm. And I think with that, if we're looking for expansion, having the courage to follow those subtleties and listen to those voices, even though sometimes when we listen to the voice, it says, don't go to that event that you told everyone you were going to go to, because it doesn't feel right now. You know, and like having the courage to like text the person or ring them up and say, I'm sorry, like just the energy's not there for me in this moment. You know, if it changes, I'll be there. But also having the courage to, you know, let go of the identity that we have created for ourselves. You know, that I'm this type of person, I'm that type of person. You know, the biggest shifts came for me when I let go of an identity that I had been very attached to for a very long time. And I just had to listen to my heart, you know. And so, you know, come from your head to your heart. Courage comes from the word cœur, you know, the word for your heart. When you're in your heart and you listen to your heart, and you honor your heart, you know, and say, well, okay, I'm going to follow this path. You know, total commitment to the truth of who I am. Then huge shifts can come. And when you make them from joy, you know, when you make the joyful choice, the loving choice, then you will be rewarded with more love and more joy. You know, when you choose peace, you receive peace. You know, you create the world around you in that way, you know, that you follow. I mean, it's just kind of obvious, really. You know, if you tune your radio to rock music, you're going to hear rock music. If you tune your heart to love, you're going to receive love. You know, it's kind of simple physics almost, but it does take courage, you know, to follow that voice inside that says, this is the path. You know, you said you wanted love, you have to go that way. You know, even though the voices may be saying, I should go that way. Follow the heart knows. And just having that courage to listen to it and to be the truth of who you are, because that ultimately is the most rewarding gift you can give yourself and you can give to everyone around you, is to be yourself.
And, you know, it's also the thing of being okay with when you let your mind talk you out of it and you go a different way anyway and it doesn't feel good, that's okay. Like you're just playing, you're just exploring and learning more and more. Like, oh yeah, it really doesn't feel good when I do that. Just another little reminder, just another little nudge. So it's like, I know for myself, I've had to just let go to that and just not give myself a hard time about making the wrong choice. It's like, oh, I made the wrong choice. No worries. What's the right choice in this moment? And I think that's a really beautiful thing as well, is really, you know, we've heard the be in the moment, those words for a long time, and we're hearing it more and more now. Like those of you who are listening to the council, like we're hearing it all the time in a much deeper, much more expansive, tangible way, I feel. And so, especially when I've got into that place where I've had the intuitive hit, or I really know, but then, you know, maybe I've kind of not listened in that moment and I've done something else and it's got a little bit diluted. It's just to know, like, it's never lost. If we really do explore what this present moment is, it's not just a phrase to use. It's really like, it's an opportunity to really, like, you know, you can imagine it as a tree, if you like, you know, like the present moment being a tree, like feel for the roots, feel for the trunk, feel for the leaves, feel for the wind in the leaves. Like you really can get a sense of this present moment that's it's like a whole universe. This present moment is a whole universe. So there's absolutely no desire to rush beyond it, because it's infinite. And in that infinite moment, that's the space where, you know, the heart speaks to you so clearly. Yeah.
So I would love to just kind of speak to the different things that you guys have brought up. I love the idea of recognizing that it takes courage to follow your truth, because a lot of times it's going against the socially understood ideas of how one should do, or things that your parents taught you, or things that your friends are saying. And so oftentimes following what's true to you goes against what others outside of you are saying or dictating. And so there's oftentimes a lot of courage that's required to be authentic in pursuing the things that you want to pursue, and to be the person that you want to be, not what others want you to be. And I just wanted to kind of highlight that, because I totally agree with that. Mm-hmm. And then Megan, you started by talking about this idea of, you ended with being in the moment, but before that you started with
the subtleties.
No, there was something else in there. Anyway, so kind of going to there's something else that you said there, but that's okay. I'm kind of stuck on the moment. Being in the moment.
trying to get back to the last moment.
Yeah, right. So being in the moment, again, like you say, we hear this all the time, and it's in any mystic in the world from beginning of time has talked about being in the now, being in the moment. And there's an element in that which we don't seem to really appreciate. And there's a subtlety in the experience of being in the moment, getting yourself back into the present moment, getting yourself back into your experience right now, not where you were 5 seconds ago and not where you will be 5 seconds from now, but really just being fully present. Again, it's a skill set, it's an art form, and it takes practice, and it's subtle, because it's so easy for me to think, oh, my mom is going to need to, you know, call me about something in a moment, so I'm paying attention to that. Or, you know, I can't remember what Megan said 5 seconds ago, and
yeah.
you know, and so it's really easy for us to get out of that. And
sorry, Daniel. I was just going to say, I think it helps to have a body, because we have this body where we can just, like, that's the touch point. It's like, be in your body, feel your body. Like, you know, you can come to that, feel the air on your skin, feel your heartbeat, feel your feet on the ground, feel where your hands against your body. Like, it just brings you straight back to now. And also, I feel like I tend to bring words out of my mind and really feel for them. So when I hear be in the moment, it's not just like a concept anymore. It's like I want to actually almost like digest that energy of those words and actually breathe with those words. So it's like sometimes I even see the letters in my mind's eye and just let myself like just kind of, I don't know, expand into that or drop into that. So it becomes like a really different experience of like receiving information or concepts or ideas. It's like they're not concepts and ideas anymore. They become digested into this living experience. Does that make sense? Because I know
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does make sense. And I'll add a little bit to this as well, because for those of you that have been listening to the show or know me for a long time, feeling is not one of my strengths. You know, it's my interpretation of the world comes a lot through my intellect, through my analysis, through my head. And one time, Spirit, through my practice group, which I talk about all the time, one of our spirit friends made the recommendation of next time that I'm taking a course or next time that I'm in a workshop of some sort, instead of listening to try and understand what they're saying, pay attention to the feeling that I am experiencing during that course. And so I've been more and more aware of doing that. And so it's a beautiful reminder again that, again, it's not about the words, it's about what's behind the words that we're pointing towards. It's behind the words where you're going to find the essence of your own experience of whatever it is that's being shared. And like I always tell people, it's not about what Megan says or about what I say or about what anybody else says. It's about what you get from it. That's where the magic is. It's in your own experience of whatever is being shared. That's where your expansion comes from. It doesn't come from me or from Megan or from Olivier or from the music you heard. It comes from your experience that you had while you were experiencing that beautiful music. So Kitty says, slow down to feel the acceleration, which is true. It's a nice reminder.
And I noticed a great question here further up from Kelly, asking how would you describe love frequency? I think that would be a lovely one to. How would you describe love frequency?
I can feel it. And I think that's the key, is like it's a feeling, it's a felt thing. It is, it's presence. You know, we feel its presence when we're in it. And it can arrive at any time when we allow it in. And Daniel, as you're talking about, you know, understanding the message beyond the words, it made me think about how we live in Portugal. We've been there 2.5 years. I'm still learning the language. And yet I can have conversations with people where there are very little words. They may be speaking quite a lot, and I'm tuning in, I'm listening to what they're saying beyond the words. And I can understand what they're saying. If you ask me to give a word by word translation, I wouldn't be able to do it, but I can let you know, oh, they're letting me know this. This is what I felt from them as they spoke. And you know, that's a connection. That's a connection heart to heart, like a human to human, heart to heart connection. And like, I just know it, you know, and the same as with love. We don't need to read 1,000 books about love to know what love is. It's who we are. It's the truth of who we are. It's the truth of everything that we see. Everything that we see is love and light. Like, literally, that is the fabric of the universe. So that love frequency, it's the truth of everything. It's the truth of everything. And it's like the carrier frequency that when we allow ourselves into that love frequency, everything falls into place. We understand ourselves. We understand ourselves in our own soul's evolution, and we understand that beyond a mental cognition level, like everything, we just know it. We know that everything is perfect in this moment because everything is the expansion and evolution and unfolding of love, remembering itself through our particular lens, our particular frequency.
I was remembering there was this really beautiful moment recently that I had with a, I don't know, she was probably between 1 and 2, and there was absolutely no verbal language between us at all. But we'd found a bee on the beach and it needed some sugar water to pep it back up again. So we went to this cafe on the beach. They were doing it up, so there were people around, and there was the little daughter came up to see me feeding this bee, and yeah, there was no language, but she was just looking up at me with these beautiful big brown eyes, and there was just like this laughter in her face, and I felt it in me, and I was just gesturing, like looking at the bee and go, and there was just this innocent communication, and I just felt so much joy, and that joy just felt my heart felt so big, and I just could have giggled and laughed like the whole time, and that's when I know I'm experiencing love. Like, it's just, there is nothing else beyond that moment. Like, that's all there is, and it's just completely satiating. There is nothing that I want for beyond that. And that's when I know I'm in pure love frequency. And that's what I feel when we play often. And when I'm singing, it's just, there is nothing, like I don't even have a consideration of anything else existing in that moment. That's the only thing that there is. And I think that's when we're completely satiated. And when we have a conversation with someone that you feel so completely received, and it's exciting, like all these ideas are coming, or you feel really met. Again, it's that love frequency. It's not, you're not trying to get across a point or fill the space or do something socially acceptable. Like, it's just pure love. It's just pure innocent love where you share, and when you get to share that with others, it just amplifies it and amplifies it. And you know it in your heart when you feel that way. You don't necessarily need to label it like, oh, I'm experiencing pure love right now, but it just is, like, it just is. Yeah.
Anne puts a comment in the chat about her experience of connecting purely with her dog.
Yeah.
And it's another example that we can also bring up as an example of what is this pure love frequency. Well, when you're looking into the eyes of a beloved animal that shares a space with you, frequently they're looking at you with that love. They're emanating that love that they have. It's a beautiful experience. Thank you for sharing that, Anne.
Yeah. And in nature, nature for me is like, it's just the thing. Like, when I'm in the ocean, there's just nothing else. When I'm like, there's certain points in a forest or a woodland that I'll go through, and I'll just be like, oh, this is it. It's like a gateway, and I just feel it again and again. I think it comes back to, we were talking about the subtleties, and we can feel for ourselves whether something's like, this is a bit pushed, like I'm trying to make something happen. I want to try and feel something, as opposed to that feeling of when it just happens and it's just the most natural thing. And I always, I feel like it's, the more we become ourselves, the more we really come into our natural selves, our natural beingness.
And the synchronicities are wonderful. Like, they're the things that show me right place, right time. And like, it's every day. Like, just to be there in the moment that 2 hummingbirds came together, and then ascended in this vortex of energy together towards the sun. It's like, oh wow. Or just at the moment where the golden light was casting this, beautiful radiance onto a particular rock at a sunset. or just at the moment where somebody else just walked around to the corner and smiled, you know, at you right then. You know, those synchronicities, that's for me, like I look for them now. Not that I look for them actually actively, just that I notice them.
It's
and
the
notice
perception
them more
piece,
and
isn't
more.
it?
Yeah, yeah. The moment when a butterfly just came and landed on a flower in front of me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, ah, yes, this is love. Like this is love, living in the pure flow of life.
Yeah, and as you're saying that, I'm like, I really have that sense of the more that I'm in that space, you know, sometimes I do drop into anxiety or like a bit of panic or stress or whatever, and it's like my world just closes in. It's like the blinkers come on, and I'm not perceiving really what is there. And as soon as I just take that step back and come back in and like really feel for it again, it's just like, hey, it's here, it's always here. You just have to open back out to it. And for me, that quietening down really, really helps. Are you muted, Dan?
Muted, Dan?
Yes, I forgot to unmute myself. So Kitty shares a story here in the chat of when she was 7 or 8 years old and her Oma came to visit from Amsterdam and she didn't speak any Dutch, but yet she was the translator.
Amazing.
That's so cool.
I
So
love
cool.
that.
And so I'm aware of the time. And so I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to kind of talk about, you know, if people want to work with you, what's the best way for them to reach you? What are the different ways in which people can connect with you? What are the different ways in which you can offer different services to them? And it's just going to talk a little bit about you guys.
Okay.
Great. purelovefrequency.com is our website. You can send us a message through there or email us love@purelovefrequency.com. And everyone's journey is different, you know, and it's wonderful to have a conversation and explore, okay, what is your heart asking for? You know, what is it that we can create together in your journey of self-realization and our journey, like it, because we get from it as well, of course. But, you know, a conversation is a wonderful place to start. There are group programs that we run, Blissful Unity. We're starting the next one end of October this year. It's on the website. You can have a look. And
we're really open. Like when something feels good, we'll go with it. And so we have things on the website that you can have a look at. I'm always a little bit like unsure whether it's completely up to date because I feel like we're always evolving. But if you feel a call in your heart, if you feel like, oh, I don't know why, but I feel like I want to explore something with these guys, then please just send us an email, like just start a conversation. And then we'll sense where to go from there. It's possible to have like just one-off single sessions with us just to see what's there. And that can be anything, you know, that can be anything really. It's just whatever wants to come in that moment. Something that I'm going to be starting in the autumn as well is inhabit your voice and activate your light language, which feels a really, really joyful thing as well. So if you're interested in that, just send me an email and I'll pop you on the list. And that will be really something that's going to be just playful, expansive, really allowing your gifts to come through in their unique way, in a playful, connected, lovely environment. I'd say just email and start a conversation.
There are downloads too. You can get downloads, you know, if you like to just hear our music and have that as part of your life to connect into pure love frequency each day. You know, get the downloads, have them on your phone.
The journeys that we do with people over months is amazing. So if that calls to you, let's have a call and just see what's there for you. That can awaken all sorts of things.
Be playful, you know, and joyful, and just there's nothing serious going on here, you know, so get in touch, let's have a chat. Anything is possible.
And if you know that I was just saying, and then I didn't continue it, that we're really open to what feels good for you. And if it feels good to us as well,
all the better. But if you want us to play for you and some close friends, or you and your family, or you and your partner, or something that just feels like, oh, that would be amazing to share this with these people in my life, or your animals, let us know, because we really love doing that stuff.
And so, again, I assume that people that register on your website to be on your list will receive information about your upcoming courses and events and things that you do. So if you're interested in any of the future things that they've talked about, if you go to purelovefrequency.com, the bottom of the page, there's a sign up there for you to enter your email address, get on their list, and then you can be informed of their latest offerings. And if you mention the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit when you connect with them, they are offering a $97 private session with them. I believe that's the invitation. Yeah, $97 US for a 45-minute private session. So if you mention that, beautiful.
Yeah, amazing. We'll book you in. Yeah.
So, guys, thank you for being here with us, and I appreciate your willingness to to make this happen, even if it's not an ideal technological setup. But the feedback in the chat was that it was beautiful, and everybody heard what they felt was necessary. And so, thank you again for being here. Looking forward to having you come back in future seasons, and we will connect about that. And anything that you guys would like to finish with?
Thank you, Daniel, for this beautiful opportunity. Thank you, everyone who was here today. It is a co-creation. So thank you, all of you, for your presence here and allowing us to bring through the pure love frequency for you. It's such a joy. So please, enjoy, and just shine it out from your heart.
Yeah, and we love to hear from you.
Yes.
Just reach out anytime.
Yes.
Thank you so much, all of you.
So with that, at the top of the hour, we have Ryan Willoughby, whose voice you've been hearing from the heavens, because I didn't include his video just to simplify things. So Ryan, who's the one that's been joining us in the conversation earlier today, will be the speaker next. He has joined us in the past, and it was a wonderful conversation. So I'm looking forward to seeing where we go with this, Ryan. So top of the hour, join us for Ryan. Until then, I will leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Love you, Megan, Olivier.
Love you.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.